Assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, assalatu wassalamu ala rasulil kareem. Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, to another Darun show. Let's get it on the road. Sheikh Ahmed Amir, take it away.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها ومن جاء بالسيئة فلا يجزى إلا مثلها وهم لا يظلمون. قل إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. قل أغير الله أبغي ربا وهو رب كل شيء ولا تكسب كل نفس إلا عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى ثم إلى ربكم مرجعكم فينبئكم بما كنتم فيه تختلفون. وهو الذي جعلكم خلائف الأرض ورفع بعضكم فوق بعض درجات ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم إن ربك سريع العقاب وإنه لغفور رحيم. صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm Captain Caveman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am the Darun Mac.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I'm Professor Gray, and my hairs are growing even longer.
Yeah, you only came last week.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know. It just grows fast.
Yeah, it does. It does. Hopefully you're there. You know what to do. Comment, and inshallah we'll read them out as we go along. Importantly, also share the link. And Kalam's going to tell you the number.
Yes, I am indeed. It's 0208 123 4507. I've got it locked down on lockdown. Alhamdulillah.
I finally got it memorized. Finally. Okay. And of course, if you guys want us to discuss anything in particular, let us know, and inshallah we'll do our best to discuss that. So what's been happening, guys? 1 week, what you been up to?
Well, I'm just gonna put it out there, Azadbai and Abjubai. I'm gonna go bike riding tomorrow, guys.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Well done, bro.
Yeah, MashaAllah, but that's about tomorrow. What have you done in the week?
Right. Not much, really. I've been planning the bike ride. No, not much, to be honest.
That's good. A lot of people taking up riding, and I think there's a shortage of bikes. That's how it's.
Yeah, I'll go into that because I want to have a little discussion on the bike hype that's taking place and what's the projected money income that's going to generate as well. How many people? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I'm just going to say, yeah, busy week as you can imagine. At work, we're from the charity side. We're getting busy because the next round of Qurbani is coming up, and we're just preparing and thinking, to get people to kind of be aware of that. Cycling has been another thing. So I've been cycling, doing about average 10 miles pretty much every day. Today I took a bit of a rest because don't want to overdo it as well. And I'm also planning a cycle run on Sunday, but Epping Forest off-road, yeah? So I know this weekend's going to be jam-packed with loads of cyclists, but we talk about it afterwards. Let's see what other people have to say, what they've been doing with their week.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I've been going out now and again. I plan to go out tomorrow, actually, inshallah.
You see, brothers, this is so easy for us to go out, yeah? I mean, I literally go every day, yeah? But my question is it correct? Is it advisable? Is it lawful for sisters to go out cycling? That's the discussion.
Oh, my God. What are you doing?
You're going to open that.
No one watching. Get away with that comment. You're going to open a bit of a controversial subject. But is it controversial? Why shouldn't sisters go cycling? I know of a sister cycling club.
Yeah. There are opportunities out there. I mean, I go to my secret location, which is just around my house, okay? And it's cycling.
Loads of
people. It is secret. It is secret. Don't tell people.
What's the secret about that? You go to the Olympic Park, you go through Hackney Wick, and
yeah, but that's secret. You don't want to tell people, because you don't want congestion. Then
you don't want to tell people, and then you put it on Facebook.
And then the other lot are doing things that they shouldn't be doing in the night, and then they're going to get everyone else in trouble. But anyway, on the serious side, it's very serious. It's very easy. There's loads of sisters cycling there. Yeah, it's not like sisters don't cycle. I just don't think that people know that there are cycle schemes. There are sisters who are instructors who actually teach sisters groups, women's only group. So those opportunities are there. We can give you contacts and that. I'm organising a sisters group out there. I've got some contact with sisters. Some sisters want to do it. A lot of sisters, they say basically it's quite embarrassing. They don't like doing it in Tower Hamlets. People look at them. So that they feel a bit embarrassed doing it. But at the Olympic Park, it's just very normal. People are cycling. But just to let you know, the projection is £1 billion. In the next 3 years, cycling is going to generate, and the industry basically just before COVID-19 kicked in, there was basically the cycle industry felt that basically they're going to be impacted upon, and that's why they didn't put their bikes on production lines and that. Yeah, but now they've realised just as the COVID-19 kicked in, the interest for cycling has just kind of rocketed. Just to give you some figures here, in 2019, 950 million value of money worth of bikes was sold. 2.5 million numbers of bikes in 2019, and there's been an increase drastic increase of people taking up cycling. And guess, out of the gender, which category is actually dominating at the moment in taking up cycling?
Female.
Women.
Yeah.
Women.
Yes.
Yay.
Out of 10, six females are actually taking up cycling. Yeah.
You say cycling is one thing, but I think there's this whole thing about sisters, women, particularly like hijabi, jilbabi sisters, and their role in the public sphere. There's should they be cycling? Should they be public? Should they be teaching in public? Like even Islam, should they be speaking in public? Should they be playing sports? Should they be active in politics, in charity? There's a charity local to the one that I work for, where the charity that I work for, we were more than happy for sisters to volunteer and shake the buckets, go to the tube collections and all of that. And the charity next to us, they were like spreading rumors about us promoting women coming out and being immodest. And so there's this big conversation actually about where Muslim women's role in the public sphere, and what is correct and what is not appropriate, and do they have a public voice and that kind of stuff, which I guess it could be had.
Well, it'd be good if a sister called in to discuss that, because what we don't want to do is get accused of what? Oh, look, 3 men talking about women. But look, the reason I knew there was more sisters buying cycles and things like that is obviously I've had a bike for about a year now, and we also every year organize a cage bike ride. We had to cancel this year's one because of COVID, but we do one almost every April, May, we do one every year. And we were going to actually look into doing a specific sisters one, and I discovered there's a sister cycling club. I think they operate mainly out of Walthamstow or Waltham Forest. I can't remember which area.
We also have one, Azabeh. We also have one in Tower Hamlets. It's a very good one, and I think it's totally free, from basic level beginners to a little bit intermediate. And there is, mashallah, a couple of sisters who are actually qualified cyclists who will take you out, teach you the basics of cycling, and also take you on the road and that. Yeah, and also they do cycle maintenance. I think once a month they help you in understanding the bike. So the facility is there. We have very good cycling associations and clubs. I think the issue, what Kalam is probably talking more in the general sense, that like sisters are, should they be doing this? The question is, why not? There are sisters already who are cycling, and they're appropriately cycling as well with the same framework. People need to go to work as well. People are now picking up something. The government's encouraging people back to work with cycling. The only difficulty with cycling, and when I speak to the brothers, is that everyone's happy to go and grab a bag or a bike. They're struggling to get one now because most of the shelves are actually empty. Is storing problems. So a lot of people who live in council flats and that, they're struggling to store bikes. Also security and safety, because bikes are not cheap now. They're going to get more expensive.
Stolen quite a lot as well.
They get stolen, and I don't know if you brothers are aware that the brothers who did the cycle to Mecca.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
it got stolen from outside.
You know what it is? Because they
found it.
Alhamdulillah. You know what it is? Because they organize, because we're organizing a bike ride, innit? I don't have a bike, and I didn't want to borrow my brother's bike again. So I thought, what shall I do? So I went to B&Q and bought one of them.
Yeah.
I'll put the bike back. All I'm going to say is I'll leave a little note. I'll put the bike after I'm done. I'm borrowing this for 3 hours. Please, hope you don't mind.
Well,
there's some interesting messages there.
There are some interesting messages there. So Timothy is saying, no, not Timothy. Yeah, Zishan is saying, I'll be straight. So I put a question out there. What do you want us to talk about, guys? And Zishan is saying, I'll be straight. Let's talk about Yemen. Everybody's joined us. Ohid, Hannah, Habiba. Timothy James is saying, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. I'm a few minutes late, but better late than never. Darun Mac looking hench tonight. MashaAllah. Bruv, not tonight. Every night. Okay. Just saying, innit? And then Zishan is giving us a little bit of information about. Maybe we can talk about Yemen, guys.
Yeah, we should,
Has something happened there? Because it's been
not something what's happened is it's getting highlighted more. I mean, the situation in Yemen has been atrocious. But let's finish the discussion. I think also, just to say, I mean, I'm part of a cycling club as well, Al Iman Cycling Club, and mashallah, they organised the first Hajj ride, and they're doing one next year as well. So I think, look, it is really, really good. Great to see so many people out there cycling and everything else. And one of the, from Al Iman, I kind of found out was out of all the people that cycle, Muslims cycle the least. So you have, like, other people of whether they're Sikh or Christian or Jewish background or everything else, they're cycling much more than Muslims. And I think also Asians ourselves. With all the health issues and everything else, one of the major reasons for all the health problems we're having is the lack of exercise. So I think, it is good. Not everyone can play football, especially when you reach a certain age. And you also need a sport or an exercise that's low impact. And cycling is actually a very, very beneficial cardio exercise with really, really low impact.
I mean, and also depending on what type of cycling you do, it can be also powering, because it can generate power in your body. For example, I'm more inclined to mountain biking, and mountain biking does help you to gain a lot of power because you have to accelerate, you have to use power. So there's different types of cycling, and I think a lot of people always say, look, what kind of bike should we get? And I always say to people, look, if you're not sure what type of cycling you want to do, some people like to do long distance cycling, road, and it's therapeutic. You come off it, let's get out of the city. As soon as you hit out the city, the countryside is so beautiful, nice roads, not a lot of cars on the roads and that, and you can enjoy it. The countryside and nature is really beautiful.
Yeah. I cycled from East London Mosque to the Cambridge Mosque. So yeah, and subhanAllah, it was really, really beautiful. But even more beautiful than that ride was when we went from London to Southend. Now, Southend is not that far away, but the route we took was a 60-mile route. It's basically the British Heart Foundation route. And I'm telling you, it was such a beautiful day as well. And the story is kind of...
How long did it take you to get to Southend?
We got there in about, altogether, if you include the stop, it was around 4.5 hours. Without the stop, it'd probably be in about 3 hours, 45 minutes. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff, man.
Okay, listen, as part of EasyTalk, why don't we do a cycle adventure? Come on, let's see how many brothers out there.
Yeah, can you guys do it? You have to tell me if you can do that.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it.
You can do 6 hours. You could do
I'll cycle to Stratford, get on the train, and see you in Stratford.
We train it back. We only did it one way. Not ready to do 100 more.
So interestingly enough, we've got a new. I've never seen this viewer on before. Hajj Ride Mechanics.
Mashallah, I know who the brother is. Top man.
Yep, and he's saying Abdul Mukit, Dobir ibn Mubarak, Abu Dujan. He's tagging all these people, and then in terms of whether women should be doing public sports and being in the public domain, Musa is saying, I'm sorry, but why not if we are maintaining modesty? Because I can still wear my abaya with baggy trousers, and I think it's important for women to cycle as it's a good form of exercise and it's vital for the brothers to lower their gaze. But because you began so fast, whether they lower their gaze or not, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because you'll be zooming past them, inshallah. Why are Muslims not cycling? Zishan is saying because Muslims are too busy going to Jamaat. That's why they cycle less. And Timothy saying, guys, I'm thinking of getting an electric scooter. Can I join you guys on the bike tour if I get one, please? I don't know how to cycle.
You can
we just said basically.
No, you can do it. Everyone can ride a bike. Read the last one.
And the last one is, who's the better cyclist out of the presenters?
Yeah, bro.
Well, we don't know yet because we haven't cycled together. We all do our own cycling. I'm more a mountain biker, yeah. So I think Brother Azad is more long distance cycling. I think Abul Kalam is hybrid, so he might go in the middle.
I'm hybrid, and I need to take my supporting wheels off as well soon. You know what I mean?
Stabilizers, yeah.
Stabilizers, yeah.
No, mashallah, I think a lot of brothers and sisters who are interested in cycling, I don't think it's too hard. I think, mashallah, the brother who's just come on, who's messaged us as well. Alhamdulillah, in Milan Road, we've also got a very good cycle repair shop there as well. So it's easy. The only thing people need to worry about is, okay, fine, you got to lock it up properly. None of those locks people have got are secure. Don't leave your bike out somewhere quickly to go in a shop and that. But, that raises issues of like...
I think let's not panic people. I think there's a difference. The thing is, look, most of us, okay, if we're going to use a bike for commuting to work on a regular basis every day, things like that, then we need to get a bike that is just for that. It's something that's not expensive and everything else, and of course a good lock. Okay, if we're going to be doing it as a hobby for exercise and everything else, meaning the bike's going to be with us all the time, then invest in spend some money and invest on a good bike. But it's not, they do get stolen, but you have to also understand, okay, the way sometimes people make it really easy for them to steal. So I think it's a little bit of a balance. But look, I'm up for us to do a ride. I think, whenever you guys are ready. I do that now and again.
Remember,
we're going to have...
Well, so let's do a poll, Azad. But let's do a poll. Who wants the Easy Talk to do a bike ride? That's not a poll question, is it? Do you want Easy Talk to do a bike ride? Yes or no, right?
And also, we need to debate
the polling question.
what type of biking you want to do, because I'm going to say mountain biking and Brother Azad's going to say road biking. So we need to come to a compromise and kind of like see what we want to do, innit? Because I like going off-road. I like going through the forest and that, next to the rivers and lakes. On the road is good for long distance. So that's another discussion we can have. So people need to choose which one they want to do.
So they do.
That's not strictly true, because yes, if you're doing mountain biking, you're doing gravel trails and things like that, and a surface that's going to require thicker and fatter tires, right? That's what you're doing. But just because you're on the road doesn't mean you're not still going through nature and beauty. Okay, if you actually go on to look at my first bike ride and everything else, there's so many beautiful lakes, countryside. And like actually forests and everything else you'll see. So you will see all of that, but it's about it's about actually what you prefer to do. Like you say, it's like the way I describe it is rugby and football, if you like. If you're into rugby, that means you're into particular aspects of a sport, right? If you're into football, you're into other aspects of that sport, but both are entertaining, both will exercise you.
Okay. Let me give a Brother Azad an example here, right? I've got a hybrid, mashallah. So whenever brothers who've got mountain bikes, they want to go and I do it as well. So when brothers got like racer bikes, I'll go with them with my hybrid. I can do, so I'm like in between. I can do both because I've got a hybrid, yeah? Now, one particular brother, I won't mention his name, he took a racer and he went on the BMX track with a racer. He went on, and I said to him, look, don't do it, don't do it, please don't do it, you haven't got the right bike, and you know what, that bike and yourself is not for that kind of like BMX track, it's a very big one at the the secret location, So the brother went and he had an accident. He fell, maybe damaged the bike a little bit and that, Why? Because all the other brothers were pumping him up, go on, you can do it, and there he goes into the track with a racer. Okay, now obviously if you fall over, mashallah, he didn't hurt himself too much, just got a little bit scratches and that. But different trainers got different bikes, and it's true, you'll have to test it out. But the key thing is just get on any kind of bike, start practicing. One particular brother, I don't want to mention his name, he said he lost some weight after cycling like 1 week. So yeah, seriously, he said he's so addicted to it now, he will call me regularly to go out with him. And there's become night riders. There are those brothers who cycle in the night, and there's those who cycle in the daytime. So it's kicked off.
Well, brothers and sisters, the poll is on your screen now. Do participate. Should Easy Talk do a bike ride? Answer yes or no. And if you're saying yes, that means we're expecting you to come along.
Yeah, but the whole point here is that, look, as a Muslim community, particularly the BAME Muslim community, we are more prone to disease. Our eating habits are terrible. Actually, we should be doing more physical exercise to mitigate the risks. You know, whether it's football, whether it's swimming, whether it's martial arts, whatever it is, we should be doing. You know, people are now, you know, a lot of people are enjoying walking. You know, they like to go for walks, hiking, whatever it is. But really, there's no space for couch potatoes in the Muslim community because, you know, you need to be active. You need to be, you know, not only mentally active, but physically. It's really, really important. And that's what that's what it is. It could be cycling, could be any other sports, but we really need to look after ourselves and our bodies, and our physical well-being is really important. Otherwise, it's a right on our body that we look after it. The Prophet ﷺ says your body has a right over you, your family have a right over you, and so we need to give those rights their due. And that's what it is actually, isn't it? It's not about whether you want to cycle or not. It's about actually keeping yourself fit and healthy as much as you possibly.
So, like you said, cycling isn't the only way. Anyway, do vote, and of course, even if you can't make it, vote. It'll encourage us as well. I think, look, we've discussed quite a lot about cycling and everything else, and we hope people will take it up. If you do take it up and you're on social media, if you're on Instagram, you know, follow us and tag us. Inshallah, we'll share it as well. And of course, on Facebook, tag us as well, and we'll share it as well. It'd be good to see different people's pictures, you know, and everything else where you're going.
And also, what would be good if you do have what I call it, those cameras, and if you can get some moments of like when you're cycling, you know, share it with us, and we'll see what kind of clips you've got and what the beauty is around, and then maybe we'll probably put it together and show it to everyone as well. Because I know a lot of brothers are having very, very good experience. Some brothers have said, "Oh, it's the first time they've managed to come out the concrete jungle," and that it is a different world when you're cycling. You see the world very differently, and like Brother Azad was saying, you know, the countryside is out there. It's not too far away, just around the corner. But we're stuck in the car. I've always been a driver, yeah. Now that I've been cycling regularly outside, amount of canals and rivers, and I didn't even know River Lee was just right next to me, yeah. And yeah, now I'm an expert. I'm doing actual cycle touring for people now, yeah. You know, I mean, people will phone me up.
Tour guide.
Yeah, tour guide. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. Okay, so the poll results has come in. 80% are saying yes, we should. So inshallah, watch this space. We will plan something. Obviously, we need the lockdown and all that stuff to relax a little bit more. But in the meantime, like I said, tag us, and inshallah, we'll share the experiences. Okay, let's take a quick nasheed break and move the topic on. And I think this nasheed will set the tone, inshallah. And of course, just before I play it, you know, it's a 1 year anniversary since Muhammad Mursi was murdered, assassinated. So just, you know, Allah give him Jannat al-Firdaus. I think we should talk about that. And I think we should, I also want to talk about something that's really bugging me. I actually put a status about it, but we'll talk about it after the nasheed break.
Inshallah.
سل عنا فإنا لا نبالي بالطغى نحن جند الله دوما دربنا درب الأباء غرباء غرباء سنمضي للخلود لن نبالي بالقيود بل سنمضي للخلود فلنجاهد ونناضل ونقاتل من جديد غرباء هكذا الأحرار في دنيا العبيد فلنجاهد ونناضل ونقاتل من جديد غرباء هكذا الأحرار في دنيا العبيد غرباء 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 كم تذاكرنا زمانا يوم كنا سعداء بكتاب الله نتلوه صباحا ومساء كم تذاكرنا زمانا يوم كنا سعداء بكتاب الله نتلوه صباحا ومساء غرباء 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 غرباء
Assalamu alaikum. What an amazing nasheed. Ghuraba, the strangers. Fatuba lil ghuraba. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, glad tidings be to the strangers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst those who are the strangers as described in that hadith. Beautiful nasheed. So we want to move our discussion on. Lots of comments coming in about bike riding and all of that stuff. But there was a comment there by Timothy, or sorry, Zishan, which spoke about Yemen, and he was, and I think we want to move the discussion on to what's going on in the Yemen right now. So Zishan is saying Yemen is the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, with more than 24 million people, some 80% of the population in need of humanitarian assistance, including more than 12 million children since the conflict escalated in 2015. So I think obviously Yemen, before we talk about what's going on currently, Yemen is a really, really interesting country from a prophetic point of view. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually the Ansar originated from the Yemen. So they were Yemeni in origin. And one of the major tribes of the Arab population called the Qahtan, they're from the Yemen. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to love the Yemeni people, and he described them as being soft-hearted and gentle people, and he used to say al-imanu yemeni wal-hikmatu yamani, that the iman, faith, is from Yemen and wisdom is from Yemen. And he described the Yemen to be a place where victory would come from Yemen. The wind, the breeze that would give victory to the believers would come from Yemen. The army that will come and defeat the enemies near the end of time will come from the Yemen. So a lot of virtue is associated to the people of Yemen and to the country, to the land of the Yemen. But right now, that country, that land is going through so much hardship and difficulty. It's in a famine. One of the most scariest stats that I know about the Yemen situation is that every 10 minutes, one child dies in Yemen right now. So our show, if it's an hour long or 2 hours long, you can calculate how many kids have died in the land of Yemen during the duration of our show. And I think the conflict started between the Houthi Shia community and the Yemeni population. It's where geopolitics is being played out between the Shia, the Iranians, and the Saudi regime, and both of these nations have kind of left the Yemenis to their own peril. They've been proxy supporting one side against the other, letting the conflict fester, and now the people of Yemen are either migrating. Some of them have migrated. They've left Yemen and they've gone to Somalia. Think about it. Somalia, a land where there's been so much drought and disaster and conflict. The people of Yemen have had to flee from their country and go to another country, which is as dangerous, if not more, than the country that they come from. Simply because there's no food, there's no drink, there's cholera there, and now there's a real threat of COVID-19 being spread in the refugee camps and the internally displaced areas that people are residing in. And if that happens, the number of people that will be infected, that will die, it's just unimaginable. So really, it's something that we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to relieve the people of Yemen, to help them out of this disaster. But it's very difficult to see a solution for them apart from not the natural disaster, but the conflict solution. It's very difficult to see how they're going to come to a solution there.
Yeah, no, I think, look, this is a man-made disaster, and I think we should all recognize that. And I think, without getting too much into the politics of it, the other people are using Yemen to a certain extent, but at the same time, the Yemeni people are looking for their own self-determination. And I think people like Saudi Arabia and others coming in and doing what they're doing, bombing, indiscriminate killing, there's a lot of that happening. And I think, a Muslim country to do that to another Muslim country is beyond belief anyway. But I think one thing is important for us to understand is I've seen a lot of posts about Yemen and everything else. And there are some people also who say, well, this has been going on for years and you've just only woken up now. Which is true and not true. I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of charities I know have been working in Yemen from the get-go and doing fundraising and everything else. But, it's one of those things. There's so many different things going on. And it's the power of the media at the end of the day. When bigger mainstream media start to cover certain things, it's obvious there's going to get greater traction because, we're spreading the news within our own social media kind of circles. And that's not going to be the same reach as the millions and millions like, the newspapers and the television channels can do. So I don't think we should be too, upset or even concerned about that. I think what we should do is thank Allah that is now on a lot of people's mind and try to find means of helping them. So if you do want to, give in charity to help, please find the different charities. There's, a lot of them that's working in Yemen. But more than that, I think we should also try to find the political and put pressure on the political kind of solution to this and stop the killing.
Well, I think the other thing you've got to bear in mind, even though it's a political problem and it needs a political solution, because I don't think just the humanitarian course is just going to be enough. There needs to be a political solution to this, and whatever that needs to be done. Because if they don't get this war into halt, then more and more innocent lives will be taken. And like Brother Abu Kalam has mentioned, a child dies every 10 minutes, and it's not just a child, but you also got to understand with the drought, with the lack of aid and food, malnourishment is very, very high amongst the population, and it's affecting the elderly people, it's affecting mothers and children. Mothers are not able to kind of feed their children. They're not producing the milk that is required. Now, alhamdulillah, some of the charity organizations are doing their best to do this. And what I have seen is that when the media focuses on Yemen, we get a lot of response. which is natural. But when the media is not focusing on Yemen, that response dies down. And what we need to do is really, really work closely with all the charity organization. I know at my charity organization, we're going to be doing our best to highlight all those war-torn countries as best as we can, so that it's there in front of you. And I think, all our viewers out there, you should take some responsibility in kind of keeping up with what's happening in some of these war-torn countries or where people are being victims, so that you can be the promoter and share the information, because the mainstream is not going to, promote this or bring it to the attention. They will be selective in when they bring it and so forth. Yeah. But I have seen that, when the media is not focusing on there, the hype goes down. Now that there are some tension taking place, there are aid that's being stopped in Yemen. There's a lot of disputes happening on the ground, a lot of negotiation that needs to be taking place. So there's a lot of issues there now. So now it's come to the forefront again. But we shouldn't wait for the mainstream to kind of like bring that news. We need to be, as Muslims, thinking about every week, well, what's happening in China, what's happening in all the other countries where people have been oppressed and that. Yeah. So I think we should make that our value in the way we look at what the news is all about. We need to be proactive in the news rather than the news come and hitting us.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I agree, and I think it's about organization. I don't know where Khalid Rahman is tonight, but he's the one who our favorite fan viewer. His favorite word, organization. I think I was reading about the boycott of the Muslims during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if you remember, the Quraysh, the Mushrikeen, they boycotted the Muslims and they banished them to the valley of Abu Talib, an area in Mecca, and it was a political boycott, an economical boycott, a comprehensive boycott, even cultural boycott. So the Muslims and their supporters, the Banu Hashim, were boycotted. No food, no drink, no clothing, no money was allowed in or out, but also socially, they were boycotted as well. So like nobody could marry with them or anything. And this boycott lasted 3 years, and it was crippling on the Muslims and their supporters, completely crippling. There's a narration where Sayyidina Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he needed to go to urinate one evening, and he went, and the urine fell on something and it was making a spitting noise. So after he finished urinating, he checked what it was, and it was dried skin of camel. And he said, we were so hungry that I washed this thoroughly, I heated it up, and we used that skin as food for 3 nights. So this was the situation of the Muslims at that time, like the people of Gaza, like the people of Yemen, many other places where no food, no drink, they're in dire situation. Who broke the boycott? Who actually enabled the Muslims to come out of that? It was 5 non-Muslims. It was 5 non-Muslims, and they felt sorry for what was going on. They saw the oppression, the injustice, and one of them went to the other and said, "Look, what's going on? You're actually related to these to the Prophet and the Muslims. How can you take it? If it was my family, I would not be able to take it." So he said, "But I'm on my own. I don't have anybody else to support me." He said, "I'm there, and I think another one also thinks like us. Let's go to him." So they went to the third one, and the third one said, "Of course, I'm with you guys. It's horrible what's going on. Let's do something about it. I think another one shares our feelings." So they went to the fourth one, and the fourth one said, "There's a fifth one." So the 5 of them got together. They sat down, they planned, they had an idea, and then they executed their idea. And it was amazing what they did. So they went to Masjidul Haram separately, the 5 of them. They went in through different gates, and the main one, he went in wearing beautiful clothes, his best clothes, and that drew the attention of everybody else there. He did tawaf, that drew more people's attention, and then he made a speech. Because remember, it was Abu Jahl who led the boycott. So he made a speech and he said, what Abu Jahl did in terms of the boycott and all of this, we don't support it. This is oppressive. It's not something that we support. I don't back it at all. So he made his speech. Abu Jahl said, shut up, you. Who wants to hear you? So then the second one stood up and he said, no, you shut up, Abu Jahl. I agree with him. He's right. This is oppressive. And then the third one stood up and said, we never agreed to this. Abu Jahl is wrong to do this unilaterally. We want it to be undone. Then the fourth one stood up and the fifth one stood up. So now there's a movement that's happened. Everybody else is saying, you know what, they're right. this shouldn't happen. We should break this treaty. And eventually, alhamdulillah, pretty, immediately the boycott was broken and the Muslims were allowed back in, and food and all of that. So do you see what I mean? If we want to create change, we have to be people who are action motivated. We have to do, we have to plan, we have to organize, we have to find like-minded people.
I mean, all of that. Importantly, in all of that, you have to be willing to make sacrifice. You have to actually be radical. You actually have to be willing to take a risk. These guys take a risk.
Absolutely.
And this is really, really important. And I think, look, it brings me on to something I has been bugging me. Okay, so now say we know someone who's racist, okay, has history of making racist comments, okay, and has now become the prime minister of the country. Now, this person who's racist, he's racist. You've actually said he's racist and called him a racist, okay? He's become prime minister. Do you congratulate him as becoming prime minister? Question. Answer, bro.
I mean, no, sorry, I won't.
Okay, all right, mashallah, that's good. We're still on the same page. Now, this racist prime minister, who none of us congratulate, right, has a baby out of wedlock, right, and the baby's born and everything else. Do you now congratulate him on the birth of his baby?
Well, maybe his wife.
Right. Abdul would congratulate him. You would.
I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to congratulate him. It depends what happens.
No one going. How would you go out your way? I mean, putting on social media, congratulations, Mr. Prime Minister, on your baby.
Yeah, I think that's going out of my way, innit? I wouldn't but it depends. It depends who I am. Say he's my political opponent, and I'm quite a high profile.
No. I'm not. He's not your political opponent. He's what he is now to you.
Me. Yeah. No. I'd be like, that's wrong, bro. A wedlock.
Yeah.
Haram.
Exactly. Are you sure you want to stick to your position of like?
No. You know what? Because I know you're trying to put me in a box here. So
no, I'm not trying to put you in a box.
I'm helping you. I'm helping you to make the point. So So for example, let's say
So you won't. So now, okay. So this is consistent. So now, when you find out that this prime minister. So you all know about the massacre that took place in Bosnia, Srebrenica, yeah? Of course you will know this, yeah? Now, this very same prime minister, you know what he said about the Muslims that were killed? Oh, it's appalling what happened to them, but these Muslims were no angels, right? In blame. And now, right, you're going, oh my God, he's gone crazy. I see, and this is like, what really bugs me on the hypocrisy of some Muslims and their activism. This person has a consistent record of being a racist, right? Why would you congratulate him? Why would you wish, and then like to wish something that is un-Islamic, a baby being
in wedlock? Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you're like congratulating him. Why would you do that? What mindset do you need to do that? No, we shouldn't. You know what it is? We need to take this seriously because it's a very important lesson here. And that lesson is people who, have that thing, they would never be the people who would break that boycott that Kalam just talked about. Okay? These people, what they are is they are kind of mesmerized by the system and the politics that's there. And they think that, that their behavior, they're showing etiquette. Oh, it's good etiquette. When is it good etiquette to see oppression and then pat that oppression on the back? Where is that etiquette? I want to know from our deen, where is that etiquette? Yeah, I'm not saying you need to use foul language or anything else. You just need to not do things that are contrary. So I think
you mustn't praise that which is forbidden by God and that which is incorrect, right? You mustn't praise it or acknowledge it and condone it, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, just like that, the kind of child being born out of wedlock, but the oppression is also problematic, right? Why would you praise someone who is being racist? So I see so many Muslims, right? They not so many actually. Let me not exaggerate. I see some Muslims who praise him, who respect him, who kind of treat him with
I
that,
can't be seen doing that. No way.
and all of that kind of stuff. And then they get upset. Oh, did you see he said that? Oh, I'm disgusted. How could he have said that? Appalling from the prime minister. You know, it's like, and I'm standing there thinking, wait, like, is there something? You know, the schizophrenia in you is next level. Okay,
But you know what?
these are people who belong to his party. I'm just talking about people.
I don't think it's schizophrenia. You know what it is? It's opportunistic. It's opportunism. So some people are so desperate for like likes on their social media page or votes when they stand up for election or to be popular. So they'll say whatever they think is going to ring true to people, whatever that's going to make them popular. And this is the flip-flopping that Islam doesn't teach you. Islam teaches you actually you have values, you have principles, and you've got guidelines that dictate how you should feel. And this is why in Islam there's a concept called al-wala wal-bara, love and hate. You don't love and hate for your own self. You don't love and hate for your own pleasure. You love and hate for Allah. And this is the beautiful thing about Islam, that Islam actually what it does is it should remove yourself away from situations and replace it by, you know, when you obey Allah and you love Allah, then you see what he wants you to see, you like what he wants to like, you dislike what he wants to dislike, and that is the objective, isn't it? So yeah, I think it's quite shocking that some people do that. And when I saw that about the Bosnian war and what he said, Boris Johnson said, it surprised me, but then it didn't, because he's always been like this. Like you said, he's always had an issue, and the fact that he's supported by elements of the media where, you know, calling Muslim women letterboxes and being very, very derogatory about Muslim culture, Muslim Islamic faith, he gets away with it. And I don't think if you
I think one of the people, I mean, we can blame mainstream media and media that support him. We can say all of these things, but I think a lion's share of the blame has to be on those Muslims that, you know, support him and kind of try to deflect all of this stuff away from these types of people.
Well, should we look at what type of people do that? Because I can't see the general public, like, or the people kind of like I'm into
what type of people who do that. The type of people that are sitting in institutions. The type of people that are heading up organizations that is for the community.
Because I can't see in my circle most
the house Negroes of the basically.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but but I'm glad you did.
You know me.
Yeah, no, but it is. I'm seeing this from people who should know better, and what they're conflating and confusing is etiquette and behavior to actions. Okay, look, there's no, in Islam, you know, etiquette is important. You know, the Prophet ﷺ, or if you look at all of the battles that took place, the letters that were exchanged, there were never foul languages between one to the other. It was always courteous, you know, and the main reason is because there was a dawah to Islam taking place all the time.
Well, principle consistency, yeah, you know, the values of being consistent all the way through, and it's very good that you're highlighting this, because one of the biggest problem is a lot of people do not know how to understand the political narratives, yeah, and if they don't understand that, everything is for go. Everything is you're like a sponge. You just absorb everything because you've got no filtration. When you don't have those values, you're just a sponge. You will just take it on board, or you just want to make sure you blend in with it. People see you in the balanced way, and you're not conscious that, like, you're actually, you know, lured into the box, and you're agreeing with something that's basically detrimentally dangerous because it's taking you off your principles and your values. And even when you want to stick to your principles and values, there's going to be a lot of people who ain't going to like you. They're going to dislike you. They're going to think you're odd, you're abnormal in this, you know, because the norm is, it doesn't matter what he's done or what he said in the past. He holds the position now at the moment, and by default, you've got to select. You've got to follow it.
This concept of respecting a position for the sake of that position I want to also explore a little bit, because I think this kind of understanding is alien from Islam. Okay, so you and I know, and most people who are from Southeast Asia, whether it's Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, whatever, we know that corruption and people who are corrupt are in many positions of influence, and some of them are leaders of countries and things like that, and so automatically they get this respect and everything else. Okay, and what happened is, like, normalization took place of like taking bribes. Okay, taking bribes in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these countries is actually norm, and the people who take it, they see it as their wages and their right. They don't actually see it as,
and there are other countries as well who
I'm just focusing on the ones I've seen with my own eyes, right, where I've seen it, okay, happening. So yeah, of course it takes place everywhere. It takes place here as well. But my point being is, when you normalize that stuff as a society, as a community entire, then you can't ever stop it. You can't, because it's normal. It's the expected thing. So it's just like, you see all this racism and everything else. Subhanallah, the fact that for 9 minutes a police officer put his knee on an innocent person and killed him, even though he was telling them, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And nobody did anything about it. Okay, people filmed it, but no one actually went and pushed the police officer away and said, you're killing him.
Well, they couldn't, because they'd probably be shot.
No,
Yeah.
but yes, that's because that's the situation we've got to. But we got to remember, these police officers are our servants. They're there to serve us, the citizen. And that's what I'm saying. This normalization is taking place of people who, and that's why, look, when we see people that are advocating for Muslim needs and everything else, we got to look at those people and see, are they people based on principles, or are they people who are going to sell us down the river, or are doing it for likes, or doing it for influence, doing it for whatever. Because anyone that's genuine will never be promoting and wishing will to a known racist and then getting upset because the known racist is racist. Like, it's like, what's going on there? So I think, look, I don't know if brothers and sisters agree with me out there. We'd like to hear your comments. But I think we need to, with all of this upheaval that's taking place, that a lot of people are recognizing it, I think as a community, we need to take zero tolerance on this. Because we're going to bring that change.
Okay, but Azabah, is it wise though? Is it wise to go out and call your prime minister a racist?
If he is, yes, why not?
Because the prime minister is the head of the government, the leader of the institution of government. You're just going to antagonize him.
Are we going to
antagonize the government, and then they're just going to
speaking the truth, okay? Listen.
Sometimes maybe silence is better than speaking the truth.
If you were silent, that's different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know you said it. It wouldn't matter because you're silent. You're not on my radar, but you're on my radar because you're not silent. You're speaking, and you're doing this.
And you're probably representing the community as well by saying it.
Yeah.
I'd like to do another poll, to be honest. I'd like to say, is it wise to call the Prime Minister of the UK a racist?
Yeah, okay. So type it out for our producer and he'll put it on there. Let's see what brothers and sisters say. But look, it is not wise. I think it's a duty. Just like it was a duty on the Germans to call out the fascism of Hitler, right? Not just be silent, because look, if you're silent, you are complicit. Like, what would our answer be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
You're not comparing Boris to Hitler, are you?
No, I'm saying it's like Germans, if they didn't call out the fascism of their leader, right? If they didn't call it out, then they were wrong. So same here, if we don't call out the racism of our leader, then we're wrong. Like, where in our deen is it say, Subhanallah, Kalam, you just reminded me. What did the woman say to Umar radiallahu anhu when he became Caliph? What did she say? Tell us.
She said, if you do wrong, then I will correct you myself.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah. If you move away from the teachings of the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, I will be the one to correct you.
And she stood up in the masjid.
Yeah.
She stood up in the rock. And yeah.
But now you're saying respect. It's not respect, Kalam, it's fear. Because in Muslim countries, if you speak to the leader and say you've done this wrong, you're going to get locked up. And in Saudi Arabia, you'll probably get chopped up in their embassy, right? If you challenge it. And so this we've got to understand this. Look how far we've gone from the prophetic way. The prophetic way was that if someone does a wrong, you call it out. Obviously, you use hikmah in how you call it out. So if it's a private thing, you call it out in private. But if things are being done in public, you have to call it out in public because the damage is in public.
But
So,
I was just going to say that's a very important point that you raised, because obviously globally different people have different experiences where the opportunity is there for them to do that. In the UK, we have the freedom, we have the public expression that we can actually raise these kind of issues, and henceforth in the UK or in those countries where we have that freedom of expression, if we are not saying it there, then how guilty do you think we will be? Do you not think that Allah will judge us more because where we had the means and ability to raise our voice and address those kind of issues, if we stay silent in those areas, how difficult it will be? I mean, I don't expect, a poor person in some of those war-torn countries to be able to raise their views. They're thinking of their survival. But alhamdulillah, we're not in that situation. We have access to media. We have access to communication. We have...
You have to be context. And this conversation is here in the UK. I'm not talking about...
This is what I'm saying. Where I'm coming from is like, he is a racist. He may well be a racist, yeah?
So
but
sure.
The thing is, wise. Is it wise? The poll is there. People can vote. What I'm saying is it wise? Is it the right strategic thing for a Muslim community, a minority community amongst the minorities, a community that's got that back against the wall, so much disadvantage, fighting for relevance and survival, in such a context, is it wise to call the
Prime Minister? Why are you calling out the Islamophobia?
That's different, yeah.
Why is it different?
No.
Wait. See, look at Kalam's argument. You know what? Stop attacking our sisters that are wearing niqab and calling them letterboxes, dear Prime Minister, and bow your head when you're at it.
No. See, what I think if the Prime Minister is racist and there's qualification for him to be racist, then that qualification dictates what he is. Okay. Now, to give you an example, we can't wait until 200 years for statue of Boris Johnson to be made and put somewhere, and then the second, third generation then have to come back and say, look, we want it removed because it's insulting, because of what he said, whatever. Yeah, I think sometimes there are some things that you've got to do live and there and then. Raise it, be bold about it. If he qualifies for that, yeah, and he's made loads of statements, he's said loads of things.
It's not once, it's not twice, it's consistent over
his consistency, yes. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are scared. A lot of people think they're going to lose something out of it. But
the poll is there, brothers and sisters. So do participate, and inshallah, we'll let you know the results soon.
But isn't there a difference from somebody who's a racist? Right, he's a racist and somebody who makes racist comments. He's a blabbering fool who makes racist comments, sexist comments. He's just a fool, and look, I'm just saying.
And then he became Prime Minister. I get it.
And then he because look, he's got black advisors, he's got black people in. I think he had a black girlfriend, whatever whatever it is.
Having it's like a racist saying I've got a black friend, and I mean it's meaningless. It means absolutely nothing. Okay, look, Kalam, I think what you're trying to say, and maybe you're confusing it and conflating it, is we should be, when we want to challenge something, maybe we have to use wisdom on how we challenge something. Yeah. So do we go in a particular like radical way, or do we go softly, or do we do this, do we do that? You know, how do we approach it? This is strategic discussion.
Can you
Now,
clarify this?
in that strategic discussion,
I think one of the Labour MP, there was one of the Labour MPs did a the black Labour MP. I think she was Shadow or something, not Diana, but another female black Labour MP on a BBC political show.
I think what's her name, Rivero.
Yeah, I'm not sure what her name is. Not the one who then had to go to serve a prison sentence.
No, that's in Peterborough. That's in Peterborough. I know who you're talking about.
But the point is, like, on the panel there was a Conservative MP, female woman. I can't remember the name, guys, but I think you know. And there was Nick Ferrari from LBC and some people.
Yeah. No, you're talking about Afua Hirsch.
I'm not sure. I'm not. She's got curly hair. I don't know if that helps.
Majid Nawaz was there as well.
Majid Nawaz was there.
Yeah, Nick Ferrari told her to go to. Why don't she leave the country?
Oh no, that's another. No, that's another. No, it's not. That's not the one. No. I saw that. No, in this one, Majid Nawaz wasn't there. It was Nick Ferrari, and it was another Conservative Party MP. But the point is, she was saying, you know, he's a racist. He's a racist. And she said everybody was unanimous, and I know they were slightly right wing, you know, all of them on the panel. But the point is, like, she was hounded. How dare you say that he's a racist? How dare you say that? And what was it? You know, what is it that he said that is racist? X, Y, and Z. And she was drowned out, and she you know, she was almost.
Mashallah, she stood up. She stood up, and this is the thing: the drowning out, the drowning. See, this is how oppression works. It makes you feel uncomfortable to talk about your oppression and not feel guilty. Do you see? So this is what they were doing for years and years. Look at these, subhanallah. Have you seen some of the pictures? Like, you know, like Belgium.
We spoke about that last week, didn't we? Yeah.
You saw that picture where he hands over the father a hand and foot of his daughter because she didn't work hard enough on the field. Yeah, that they took children from Africa and put them in zoos, basically. Pictures of them in a bird cage, right? And then they would tell these people when they talk about their freedom and everything else, yeah, but didn't I clothe you? Didn't I feed you? And then they start making them feel guilty. This is, look, we do not judge oppression by, you know, people drowning out someone who speaks the truth. What was the nasheed we played? Ghuraba. What is that? It's a few, it's a stranger. You are going to be, this is, does it not feel strange now to call out the truth? Does it not feel strange now to say to someone who is racist, you're racist? We're actually having this debate, but you're in the minority, by the way. 88% of our viewers,
I'm a stranger. Yeah, no. Actually, but this is a really interesting, because there's a overlapping of what we're speaking about in terms of the boycotting, the Yemeni situation, and this situation here as well. The fact that, and I think it's been a running theme throughout our show since we resumed again, which is we as Muslims have to be wise, have to be strategic, have to do all of that, yeah. But we should never shy away from being a lone speaker for truth and haqq. This is I think ultimately it comes down to that, and I might be revealing my true colors here as well. That if we're alone calling our prime minister racist within etiquette, within respectable boundaries, but not being frightened of what will come our way by sticking to the truth. And this is where it comes. This is where we can, link what President Morsi was, what he represented, and how he met his end. You know, President Morsi, when he was elected as the president of Egypt, he came in because he represented truth and the fight against oppression, the fight for freedom, the fight for people's representation of Islam, all of that stuff. He came on, and in fact he died for that. He died, and there's an amazing quote of him, which is being spread about the Quran. He said, "During my time in the prison, they refused to give me the Quran. They thought that they deprived me. It wasn't because I wanted to read from it, because they forget that I have been a hafiz for 30 years. Yeah, it's not because I wanted to read from it. It's just I wanted to have that spiritual feeling of touching the book of Allah. You know, subhanallah. I think, you know, so this is
where you're gonna find, and this is the thing. So when you have people that are principled, okay, this is what happens. They collude and they take him out. But we are complicit in that. This is what I'm saying, right? And if we feel scared, if we feel uncomfortable to call the prime in this country where you actually have still a semblance of freedom of speech, right? That to call a racist, no matter what their position is, if we're scared to do that, imagine how bad it's going to be when they do become dictators. Because this is where all of this is going. Like with all of these laws and everything else that are coming in, right? You're losing so much of your rights. Look at
and the point that you made about, you know, these people who you know, they say things that are flavor of the month. I think this is very, very important, that as a Muslim community, sometimes being isolated, sometimes being finger pointed isn't necessarily a bad thing if we're doing it for our values, for the truth, for justice. You know, if we're not around the table because we've called out a racist because that's what he is. He's racist, and he's got a consistent, unbroken record of his bigotry and his racism. It's not like a slip of the tongue. He's not a blubbering fool. He wants you to think he is, but he actually knows what he's doing. He's very calculated. It's a persona. It's something that he does in order to deflect attention to his cunningness, you know, his actual motivation. And I think as Muslims, we shouldn't be afraid. And the song is amazing. Ghuraba, you know, be the strangers, because the Prophet said Islam started as a strange thing. When the Rasul started the da'wah, he was on his own against the whole you know, the whole world. And he will return as strange. You know, some of the Islamic principles and values of marriage and of having children in wedlock and all of those things, they become strange. You know,
we are so, and that's why I am saying that we should have zero tolerance of this. If we see Muslims that are, especially Muslims that are allegedly challenging oppression and fighting injustice, if we see these individuals or these organizations doing these things, I don't think we should remain silent. I think, you know, you can't give the nasiha in private. Why? Because they've done it in public. So you need to, I think it's come to a point where we need to say, no, we're going to start calling you out. Okay? You cannot be talking about what's happening to us, because what you're doing is you're being complicit in what's happening to us.
No, but it doesn't happen, Abdul. But that's ideal. Yeah, I personally have been through. You know, somebody's done something clearly wrong, and it's not acceptable. But nobody speaks out because that person is maybe a personality within the community. He may be a person of influence. He may have had a history of good works. But what he's just done now is wrong. Is not. But who are covering for him? The very same leaders, the very same influential people who should be the first to actually, you know, point out his errors. And that's unfortunately within the community that happens.
Well, brothers and sisters, the poll is closing. Yeah, so if you want to kind of like
the poll is closing, and I want to know, why is it that we still got 18% of the people who think like Kalam?
No, yeah, and
our prime minister. I mean, has he come and said that he's not racist?
Yeah, of course, he's going to say that.
Has he said it?
Every racist says that. Yeah, every race. Come on, man. You know, the one
even
thing
I just wanted to.
But even the detective who was at that counter Black Lives Matters demonstration, and he got hit because of his racial abuse, and he got saved by a black man, you know, carried away to safety. Even he probably said he's not a racist.
Yeah.
Policeman, yeah. It was on the wrong side of the demo. So I'm gonna read some text messages out. I'll tell you something funny on my. So this is Musa, and she's going back to the cycling issue. She's saying, "I'll tell you something funny. On my way home a few years ago, near New Road, I saw a bike attached to the bike thingamajig. And some guy had an actual electric saw to cut the chains. I yelled, "Oi!" And the and he cycled off and ha ha ha. Sorry, it was so funny. So electric. These things are
bolt cutter, yeah. And it actually looks new. You actually did buy that.
I bought it. Yeah, what I want to do. I've still got the tag on there. What I want to do is break the chain. Yeah, use the bike for an hour. And then return the bike and then get my money back for this thing. What do you reckon?
No, on a serious note, Kalami, on a serious note, what did you buy that for? I mean, what were you cutting up in your house? I mean,
yeah, no, I needed to cut. I actually needed to cut a chain to release some bikes. Yeah, I couldn't find the keys.
Yeah, he actually did.
Oh, I'll give it. I like that one. I like that. So you had all these bikes rusting away. Now that everyone else is cycling, you want to join us cycling. You had to go buy a chain cutter, to do that, and then you're going to return it back over there. You know what? I've got to say, you are the most dedicated cyclist.
I've not cycled a mile yet, but thank you.
It's the most dedicated cycle releaser.
Yeah, there you go. Freedom for the cycles. Every cycle matters.
Well, you make sure you're not walking around with it on the streets, otherwise you're going to get tasered. Okay?
No, dude. Oh dear. Okay, so Musa is saying, did anyone find a statue of the Prophet?
That's so hilarious. No, do you know what that's referring to? So the statues were going, and someone put up, we should take down all the statues of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some Muslim guy said, yeah, you know what? I definitely agree with you. I want to come with you.
Try me the first one. Faisal is saying, softly approach never works. Well, not really. Softly approach works, but appeasing people against your values never works. And then Timothy is saying, Abdul Nana, it's called you Nana, he's upgraded you. Abdul Nana looks baldy. His hair is camouflaged with the curtain. It's
quite matching, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't notice that. Well observed, yeah.
Ummu Umara is having none of it, yeah? She's like, Boris Johnson is a racist, end of. Right? Why are you even debating it? Cool.
There you go.
All right.
There is no... Hey, look, I've just put his cap on there.
Yeah, see?
He looks, and this might be a racist comment, but he looks like an Eastern European trying to sell me a car.
I think you're gonna have to do Toba for that, bro.
Yeah, double. Yeah, can you spit over your left shoulder, please?
Okay. Jazakumullah khair, brothers and sisters. Let's go for a quick nasheed break, and then we'll move the conversation on. This nasheed, we've been trying to play it for so many weeks, actually. It just never got up the ladder. So today, inshallah, we're going to play it. And let's see, before we play it, can anyone guess? We also, the meaning of this, some of the meaning of this nasheed, we also play during the show. Can you tell us when?
My death, they're all for you. I raise my breath, my life and my death, they're all for you. None but you, only you. None but you, only you. Ya Allah. I raise my breath, my life and my death, they're all for you. I raise my breath, my life and my death, they're all for you. None but you, only you. None but you, only you, Ya Allah.
Every second I live, every penny I give is just for you. Every breath I breathe, every trace I leave is just for you. Every second I live, every penny I give is just for you. Every breath I breathe, every trace I leave is just for you.
My breath, my life, and my death, they're all for you. I raise my breath, my life, and my death, they're all for you. None but you, only you.
fears, in all my tears, I'm calling you. In all my shame, in all my pain, I'm calling you. In all my fears, in all my tears, I'm calling you. In all my shame, in all my pain, I'm calling you.
My breath, my life, and my death are all for you. My prayers, my breath, my life, and my death are all for you. None but you, only you. None but you, only you, Ya Allah.
Through the night I pray and I'm seeking your way, and it's just for you. When I shed a tear, I know you're near, and it's just for you. Through the night I pray, I'm seeking your way, and it's just for you. When I shed a tear, I know you're near, and it's just for you.
حياتي وموتي وروحي ودمي إليك يا ربي أنبت إليك تجدت إليك أنبت إليك تجدت إليك يا الله. I praise my breath, my life and my death are all for you. I praise my breath, my life and my death are all for you. None but you, only you. None but you, only you, Ya Allah.
Assalamualaikum, welcome back, brothers and sisters. I could see that lots of people love that nasheed, alhamdulillah, because I could see hearts was going mad on my
So somebody explain to me, when we see all these like hearts going up and we get all these like, what does that really mean?
It means people are pressing like and heart. Like
so look, everyone watching, like, so I'm going to put the heart up here, so I'm going to shoot some, yeah? So do I get any bonuses, anything like that? No, because it looks nice. It looks like bonfire. Look at that. Look, it looks really nice. You know, it's like bonfire. I've never seen. I don't understand why that happens.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Hushiar is asking that we should put links up. Okay, you should be able to find all of this on YouTube. That one was called "All for You" by Noor. Did anyone guess? You know the meaning. There's a chorus, okay, that they sing. Did anyone guess when else we play it on our show? I mean, it's like it's a bit of easy one.
Let's give them a little bit of a few more minutes in it to. Ab Omer is saying yes, this is a lovely nasheed. So I think Ab Omer is one of those who enjoyed this nasheed. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. All right, so let's move the discussion on. I think we've had our rant. It's actually quite good, you know. Every Friday we have a good rant.
Get it off your chest.
Get it off your chest. It's been building up. It's been building up. Okay, so someone's got it. The opening surah. Well done, Zubaydah.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, mashallah. So it's just testing. Okay, so just moving the conversation on a little bit. So obviously we're still in a pandemic and we're still in the COVID kind of environment, and you know, there's obviously we kind of discussed this last week. We're going to have to slowly break out of it and everything else. So it is challenging. This week, I mean, is the first week that lots of things opened up. So you got clothes shops and everything else opened up and everything, like, you know, you had long queues in Primark and all of that kind of stuff. So I just want to ask, which one of you guys went shopping?
Yeah, I went shopping. It was good experience because I went to, what's the brother of Lidl?
Huh?
Huh?
You know, Lidl's.
Yeah.
He's got a brother that opened up another one. What's the other one called?
No. Aldi's got a little brother.
Yeah, Aldi. So I went to Aldi. Yeah, I went to Aldi.
Don't laugh at his accent. Okay, that'd be racist, bro. Okay?
Yeah. So I went to Aldi. Okay, and alhamdulillah, I'm going to say they were well organized. They had like the
shop.
No, it's like Lidl's.
No, Lidl's is
It's
a
actually-
supermarket.
Yeah, it's basically the two brothers fell out.
The supermarket, brother. Oh, everyone needs to do that. I'm talking about, did you go clothes shopping? Did you go into a shopping center like Oxford Street or?
No.
I didn't. But you know what? I need to, because you know when you got kids, yeah, and they're like six. How many weeks? It's been 6 weeks, right? Lockdown or 8 weeks?
No.
It's been 3 months, bro.
How long has it been? 3 months.
Yeah, it's nearly 3 months. So
It's like a prison sentence. The days go into the night and the night. You know what? I need to. You know why let me be honest. You know why I'm late signing up for the show? I forget we're on, because I forget it's Friday. You know, the days seem the same anyway. So, but you know that with kids, they burn their knees. They burn their knees, like they're sliding all over the place and playing. So you need to do that kind of shopping, don't you?
Can't you do it online?
Yeah, you could do.
No. I mean, look, I was actually quite shocked by the number of people that actually went early and queued up for places like Primark and other clothes shopping. I was like, okay, I can understand people panicking or queuing up for food, right? I can understand that, but for clothes as well, it's like, I suppose it's I don't know. It must be therapy.
People miss normalcy, innit? This is what people used to do that without even thinking. Like going to Westfields was a day out, or like was something that you just do. You didn't even think about it. And I think people miss that kind of stuff.
Well,
Like, I'm so excited that the football's back.
Well, before you come to football, let's stick to clothes, yeah, because I think I've just discovered there is a pattern. I don't know if the researchers done the research yet, but a lot of people were doing online shopping, buying clothes, buying things, but also a lot of people were actually returning their goods as well. So that's another phenomenon. So they were doing a lot of shopping, but they're also returning a lot. Yeah, I don't know if that's an experience of people. The reason is because, like, when they buy their clothes, it's wrong size. They don't like the texture. They don't like the material. So there's been an increase of people returning it. So it could be that because as human beings, we need to actually feel it and go there and do it. That's why people are rushing there. I mean, I'm just giving I don't know what people...
You're just making excuses. I think Faisal also said the same thing. People need an excuse to go out. And I think that it's true. There's only so much people can take just being, like, in a lockdown situation. So I suppose for mental health.
But Azad, you forget, yeah, we did place ourselves in a consumer society, isn't it? I mean, we deliberately placed ourselves in a consumer society. Everything around it is about consumption and consumerism, yeah, being online or offline or, in the marketplaces or in the shopping centers. And for us to be under a lockdown for 6 or 7 or 9 weeks, it's just basically like the Ramadan has come to an end and everyone's going to run and they're going to go and eat their food, yeah? So, yeah, you're going to see that.
The shaitan is saying, like, slow down, pace yourself.
Yeah, pace it, yeah. There's not enough stock.
No, but look, shopping, like, I think what Tazero is saying, I went to Asda's after 3 months. First time out in a supermarket after so long, there was no queue. I think the queuing system is improving and they're relaxing it a little bit now, and they're talking about reducing the social distancing from 2 meters to 1 meter, as we mentioned last time. Hushari is saying the best thing about Friday is this show. So thanks, brothers. I've had a couple of good laughs on here. Hang on a minute. What do you mean laughs? We take us seriously, man.
So he's leaving me out. It's talking about you two.
All right,
yeah,
okay.
but Kalab, you see, like, a lot of people have had a very good laugh. But like last week, how many people had to clean their PCs after the breathing exercises? And we don't know that, do we?
I've set up my room with like a desk going across, like a work table, so my kids can do their computer stuff there. And you know, when you said hold the nose and to the left, I did that to the left, and I didn't think of anything. My daughter came to the next day to work on her laptop, and she went, "I'm bored." That's some dry exercise material.
Yeah, I did say to cover your mouth with tissue. You know.
You made me breathe proper, innit? You said from there. You said from the middle of your belly, right? And when I did
bottom of your stomach.
Yeah, that's right.
Of your stomach. Hushar is agreeing with me.
Hey, what's he saying? Why can't we wait a week or two? Look, if I can have my hair cut, but my wife, third haircut so far, I can what? By my wife, his wife, he let his wife cut his hair. Whoa, good man, you trust her. I can get used to less of the things that keep us busy. Get used to spending less. A lot of things we do for the sake of it. It's true, but never get your wife to cut your hair.
Yeah, there's another one.
Sorry.
Okay, just very quickly. There's another one here. I went to IKEA. Okay.
IKEA.
IKEA, yeah.
Not IKEA.
Right. Okay. Now, IKEA, right? Yeah, is the most easy one because they've always had a very good system of going one way and following the arrows. Yeah, and if you can maintain your 2 meter distance, you know. But basically, you shouldn't jump on the beds and start having a picnic on the benches and that. Yeah, but I think IKEA is the safest place to actually go because it's a one way.
Yeah. Yeah? Where is that IKEA? Where's the nearest IKEA?
You got it. What's it called? Blackwall Tunnel. Woolwich.
Oh, Greenwich. Is that a new IKEA there?
No, it's an old one.
No, it's a new one. The old one is in Lakeside.
But you know what? When I go to IKEA, I love their lunches. I think their lunches are amazing. Have you had their like fish and chips? Real cheap, £4.50, yeah, and you get like the sauce, the hollandaise sauce, and everything, and you get free water and like the dilute drink.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, Faisal was asking when are the barbers opening. They're actually open. You know, my local barber is open. I saw him. There's a queue, so I think they've started to open up. So I think basically, look, the dentists have basically been allowed to leave their homes and open their offices. So that means pretty much everything's open now.
Yeah. The dentists are open. The barbers are open. Everything's gonna open because they want I'm gonna say it again because I believe it. They want a second surge. It's way too early. The scientific advice is out of the window. They want a second surge. We've done well. We've kept the R down. The number of deaths, COVID-related deaths, has come down. But we can lose a few 100,000. We can lose a few more tens of thousands of like poor people and BAME people and black people. It's not a problem. That's why they want you to go out, and you guys are all going out. Stay at home.
No, Kalam. But they have said, be alert, be cautious, and maintain your
stay alert.
Yeah.
Look, come on, bro. You can see the COVID, right? Yeah. And you can see it, just hide behind the tree.
Yeah. You see it come and you just like do an Ertugrul and like flip over and then go past you like that and hit that.
When you see Brother Azad coming down on his bike, cycling down, you just jump in the lake or move away from it, innit?
You know what?
Yeah, go on.
Wait. Go on. You carry on.
No. I'm just still trying to find. I'm just searching on Google IKEA. So tell me, the last time you went to IKEA, Abdul, how was it for you, IKEA? What do they sell in IKEA?
Listen, bro.
Yeah. Oh my God. Where
did you get that one from?
Do you know who you remind me of?
Huh?
The one in Batman. The bush.
Yeah.
This is really good. This is for cycling as well, actually.
Yeah. Where'd you get that one for, and how much?
I got it from America, actually, and it took 3 weeks for it to come. But it's fine. I've had it for about 2 weeks now, but to be honest, you'd only need it in the crowded areas. So I only wear it like when I start, and then I take it off when I'm out in the open. Yeah, but it's good. It's really good. It wasn't that expensive. I think how much did it cost? I think it cost. It comes with like 5 refills. So one of the filters.
What is that? What do you refill?
You know, like
the mask. Yeah.
This filter.
So
yes. So this filter.
What's the name of the brand? What's the name of the brand?
I don't know.
We got loads of cyclists who are actually watching us today, so it'd be good information.
Yeah, but you know what I'd say to the brothers is, look, you don't really need to make a big investment. I think this one is also for car fumes and everything else. It's not really just it's if you're going to be in a built-up area, it's actually a good idea, especially if you're going through traffic and things like that. So sometimes,
brother Azad, if you're going to Surrey Keys, through the Rob Wire Tunnel, you definitely need one of those.
Well, you shouldn't be going cycling. You should never cycle through the Rob Wire.
I see people going down there. It's really bad. You know that.
What you should do, you should use the foot tunnel. Yeah, the foot tunnel. Yeah. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, that's really bad. It's
Can I just read some? Okay, I'm going to read some text messages, guys. So, Hushari, see what I mean about laughs, and then he's saying, I think Abdul is talking about Aikido. Are you talking about Aikido when you're saying Akia?
Akia.
Abdul.
Akia.
Just leave him alone. Stop. Don't have a go at him.
Yes. Stop discriminating against my dyslexia. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna blame your dyslexia now?
Oh, yeah. No, you can't put that down to dyslexia.
How is that?
So what's the definition of dyslexia? All right, so get on with the show now.
Okay. Tazan is saying I've never went to IKEA either. And Omer is saying allow it with Abdul Bai, because I used to call Primark. And Timothy James is saying, mashallah, lots of good tajweed when it comes to Aqiya there. And other people are saying, Abdul with that mask on reminds people of Mortal Kombat, the Sub-Zero look.
Sub-Zero, yes.
Yeah. So, mashallah, no, alhamdulillah, yeah. So good.
It's a good mask. It's a good mask. Okay. Brothers and sisters, we are coming to nearing the end of the show. I think it's been a good discussion. So we're just gonna, if there's any comments you guys want to make, please do so. Let's hear your final thoughts, brothers. Who wants to start off?
Okay, I'll start off. Alhamdulillah, good show. I think the main thing of the main takeaway from today's show for me would be to remember that as Muslims we have principles and we have values and we have broad directions that help us to navigate through challenges in life and through whatever life throws at us. And it's called if you are Quran orientated and if you pivot your life on the Quran and the Sunnah, then naturally you have an innate ability to decipher what is right and wrong. Inshallah, the closer you are with the Quran and the closer you are with the Sunnah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you something called Al-Furqan, the balance, the criteria. So we're able to decipher what is right and what is wrong. And when we can't, then we go to people of knowledge, we go to our scholars, and they'll inform us. And I think when we're living this life, there'll be many times when we have to make judgment calls on when to speak out, when to voice our objections, when to defend the truth. And when those judgment calls come, when the time comes, it's not about whether there are lots of people backing us. It's not about whether the truth is popular at that time, whether the truth is going to gain you popularity or positions of power or influence. No. I think we should be attached to truth and to justice and against oppression and corruption, even if we are the only person on the earth to do so. And this is, I think, what the great prophets and the Anbiya of Allah and the Sahaba and the Salaf and the righteous people and the Mujahideen and people like President Morsi, may Allah give him tawfiq. This is the lesson that we can get from our people of example, that, you know, stand up for truth, be with justice, call out oppression, do it with wisdom, do it with you know, wisely, but never be on the side of oppression and on the side of injustice, even for the blink of an eye.
Alhamdulillah. Now that's a very, very good nasiyah. I always benefit from hearing advices and that, and I've got to say, alhamdulillah, this is very, very good. Just want to say to everyone, I mean, obviously, all our brothers and sisters out there, you make our show Darun with your thoughts, ideas, and we need a bit of, sometimes we need a bit of a humor, so we do our best to kind of create the balance with some serious topical discussions, if it make you think, make you kind of like ponder and realize that, you know, how gullible sometimes we can be, and how gullible sometimes our organizations and institutions are, even within the Muslim communities. So it's important for us to bring those kind of topics and issues and kind of like bounce it off each other. But the other key thing I just want to kind of highlight to everyone here, while we are discussing many different topics, you know, it's always good. A brother raised the issue of Yemen. Yemen is a very, very important issue, because obviously a lot of people are suffering over there. Just like Yemen, there are other countries where people are being oppressed, people who are suffering, who are in serious poverty as well, and there's man-made disasters that are taking place. And we as Muslims, we must do our best to kind of like be proactive in finding out what is happening and respond to that, you know, not wait for the media to tell us, or the media to have it as a high agenda. It should be always a high agenda on our consciousness. We've got to be consistent with our values and principles. We've got to be always self-reflecting on when we are thinking, when we are in the public arena and debating, because in the Western society, it's all about dominating the public discussions. An opinion is an opinion. It's the gospel. And like I said in other shows, you know, there are many people of various different ideologies and backgrounds and school of thinking who will hold on to their fundamental beliefs just like with their 5 fingers and hands, like anything. And the question we need to ask ourselves: why do we need to hesitate to hold on to our values and our principles? You know, do we not have that courage or that strength to kind of like be firm and strong? And where we have that ability to express ourselves, we have the freedom to express ourselves. You know, you're not going to get into trouble in the way that people get into trouble in other parts of the world, and that. And I think that's one of the good things that we have, where we're able to kind of express ourselves. So a lot of us are on social media. You know, let us be sensible in how we approach it, utilize it, and make a big difference, and be consistent with our principles and values.
Sorry, before you say anything, Azabah, sorry, really sorry. Just wanted to say, like, I think big shout out goes out to the Muslim Council of Britain and Harun Rashid Khan, particularly for the COVID event that they've held, and it's a really powerful statement. He said, today's ONS figures confirm what Muslim communities, academics and healthcare professionals have been saying for months, that we are dying of COVID at disproportionate rates, and that the root cause of this must be addressed in order to prevent the further unnecessary loss of life. Yet the UK government continues to obfuscate the problem, denying the role of institutional racism playing in creating health inequalities, failing to tailor public policy to the needs of different communities, and overseeing the excessive death of British Muslims. And I think this is speaking truth to power, and it's a real example of what we've been talking about today. So credit where credit's due. I think it's an amazing, it's a really good statement, and well done to Brother Harun and the guys who are leading on that.
Yeah, no, I've got time. I've got a lot of time for Brother Harun. Jazakumullah khair, and that's true. You know, we need to, just on that COVID thing, we do need to understand that it's not just one thing. Like he said, there's a systemic thing that's going on. It's the health inequality is a big thing. It's not just in terms of the impact it's having on patients, but also within health professionals themselves, how they're being impacted because of the racism, institutional racism, also needs to be looked at. Okay, look, I'm not going to make it too long. I think 2 points I want to make. One is we need to exercise. That's the khalas. You need to find some way to exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's swimming, whether it's running, whether it's football, whether it's cycling, whatever it is. Every single Muslim This is actually a very important part of our sunnah, okay, from our deen. We need to exercise. So that's my first point. The second point is we need to really stop messing about and giving people chances after chances after chances, and just stop people when they move off principles and they act in a very hypocritical way. We need to just say, you do not talk for us anymore. We don't want you to challenge any form of oppression for us. We just want you to shut up or just go away. Okay, we need to be like that. We need people who are going to stand strong, and even if they are going to be the only person standing, let them be the only person, and they're willing to do that. That's the kind of people we need. We need the people that are going to be radical, and we know who want to bring the change. If people are not going to be willing to be radical, they're not going to bring no change. They're just going to be reinforcing the same thing, maybe just change the color.
Assalamu alaikum.